said, I've got more years behind me than I have ahead. Tell everyone you love them. Oh, please don't leave it unsaid. Life and death are two things always on my mind. One is here right now and the other comes in time.
Life and death are two things always on my mind. Yes, Lord. One is here and now, oh, and the other comes in time.
One is here and now,
Oh, and the other comes in time.
ro-BAIR and ro-BAIR. That's called Life and Death Blues. That's from their brand new album. As a matter of fact, their first full-length album. It's called Hearts in Blues, and they're here with us right now. Say hello, Cindy Bear.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine, and glad to have you here with us. Let's bring Franc in, too. Franc, ro-BAIR.
Yes, I is here. Can you hear me
There
now?
you we could hear you. This is beginning to sound like a telephone commercial here.
Yeah, really.
Hey, so glad to have you guys with us, Franc. It's been some time since you were on the show.
A while, yeah.
I know you've gone through a whole bunch of changes, moves, and even acquired yourself a partner there. And
Yes.
you guys. Would it be trite to say you make good music together?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
in a good way.
In a good way,
It's
yes.
a good way.
Before
Yes.
we talk music, I want to get personal, and I want to put you on the spot. Cindy, we're glad to have you here on the show. We don't mean to embarrass anybody, but we do like to get up close and personal. And I'm going to ask you, how did you meet this guy?
Oh, my goodness. Well, first, I'd like to say thank you for having us. We're extremely excited about this and honored.
Our pleasure.
Well,
Our pleasure, really.
As for Francois, that's Frank with a C. We met at an event called Sweat Fest down at the farm in Brooksville, Florida, and it was in the middle of June. And boy, oh boy, they named it appropriately. So
Yeah.
we were both on the bill. We knew everybody on the bill, but each other, and we just happened to there. And about 5 months after that, we just knew it was fate. It was wonderful. The sweat was flinging.
That's great. You are not a Floridian yourself either?
Well, I moved here about about 26 years ago. You could say I'm a Floridian by osmosis.
Okay.
Yes, but you might as well call me a Floridian. I've been here for a long time, and I love it. I don't think I'm ever going to leave.
Well, I think
She wasn't born here, but she got here as quick as she could.
I understand.
Right.
That's the story with a lot of the people in Florida. I know John Bon Jovial is a transplanted Bostonian. I've spent 2 tours of duty in Florida, and I'm from upstate New York. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are Floridians by osmosis or other means, whatever means there are.
Just realized that they were not in the right place,
Right, exactly.
Yes, I've been waiting all my life to get here, and I didn't even know it. So how about that?
And you finally made it. We're glad you did. John Bon Jovial, you've got something to jump in with?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm just down I-75 a little ways from you in Naples. And
wonderful.
Yeah, I know all about the Florida mystique, but, in listening to the first song that we played, which, by the way, I thoroughly enjoyed, going down to Florida, I couldn't help but notice that you left out the fact that starting around May, the first or second week of May, we're going to start seeing those helicopter-sized mosquitoes again.
Yes, they do lift you up and carry you away, and it's always it's always the females too. You just can't explain it, but yeah.
Well, I've been married to one for 36 years. I get it.
Oh my goodness!
And when she carried you away, she didn't remember. That's a fascinating story about how you two got together there. I'm really glad I asked. Thank you for sharing that. And
yes.
I echo John Bon Jovial's comments about the music. Frank, you know that I've loved your music since we crossed paths. It was what, 12, 15 years ago. I was co-hosting another show. Yeah, I was co-hosting another show, and we met at a VFW up in Port Richey, I believe it was. And as a matter of fact, I still got that picture of us by the pool table. And I think. Well, I was holding a pool cue, but we never did get around to playing that game. I think we've got to.
We didn't. It was somebody else's game at that point.
We got to get together and fix that one of these days. But I have to say, I love that track you just played, or actually, we just played of yours, "Life and Death Blues." That's a great track.
I told him that. He wasn't quite sure about it, but I told him, I said, he said this was musings of an old man. I said, you're not old. This is something everyone thinks about. It really is.
Well, the way I felt this morning, I felt old, trust me.
Well, we all have mornings like that. Let me tell you, take it from someone who had a little bit of a head start on you. We all have those kind of mornings. John.
Yeah, I want to make an observation on Life and Death Blues. It's the first time I've heard it. One of the things that David does on purpose is not let me listen to the music ahead of time so he can get, and you guys can get an honest opinion of it. Yeah.
First opinion, yes.
And the first thing, as soon as I started listening to it, and about 30 seconds into it, it carried me back to Club 47 in Boston back in the early 60s when I went there to listen to a young folk singer named Tom Rush. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. His the guitar work, especially the guitar work, is so reminiscent of what he did, and is so intricate and so melodic and basically just really well done. So it brought me back. It brought me back to my youth, and so I want to thank you for that. There's certain triggers that you have in life that will bring you back to a certain stage of where you used to be, and something that you don't think about, and something that just takes you by the collar and shakes you into reality of remembering something like that. And that did it for me, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
I didn't realize we created a time machine here instead of a CD.
Actually,
see how that is?
You really did, and I agree. The instrumentation on that is fascinating to listen to, and then all of a sudden you get slapped side of the head and realize that you're listening to a very deep lyric. And I think it's, to me, and I'm not downplaying the instrumentation because the guitar work is great, but to me, the thing that strikes me is how deep and meaningful the lyrics are and how they kind of sneak up on you. You're used to the blues. It hits you. Whatever the performer is singing, it hits you, and you know immediately, and you grasp it. It grabs you right in the gut. But this one kind of sneaks up on you, and you sit there and you say, holy cow, I'm listening to my life story. And it's a trip.
Yep. Well, see, if I may say something, this is blues, but it's also folky blues. And folk music has a way of making you think.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest things that a songwriter wants to do is try to transport, reach people, on whatever level they're being reached at. They want to be able to reach them, grasp them, pull them in, and make them think and make them feel. And that song, he and I worked together really hard on that one, and it took many, many forms before it became this that you just heard.
Yeah, there's
and it was like everybody.
It's not the first version by any means.
Yeah, it's just we thought that it appealed to everybody, and this was basically taking from our own feelings. But I think everybody feels, ask these questions of themselves, at one point in time in their lives, and so we really wanted to put it out there. And thank you so much for that feedback. It's nice to know that it's working.
It definitely is.
It may not be the first version, but it's the right version.
Yes, yeah.
There you go.
Very definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you mentioned the fact.
We will not release the first version.
Okay, we'll let it go at that. But I'm glad, Cindy, that you mentioned the what do I want to say? The leaning towards a little bit more folksy blues, because that was one of the things I wanted to discuss, is the fact that having worked with Franc in the past and talked to them and listened to his music, I did notice right away, right off the top, that the sound that you have here does tend to be, I don't want to say softer blues, but it has definitely got more of an Americana folksy feel to it than it has had in the past.
Well, that's my fault. I take full responsibility. that's just my style. And the thing is, it's worked both ways. It really has. He has influenced my style, and vice versa. And I think it's made us much better songwriters and musicians, and just overall better performers. You name it. It's just been a wonderful union, and it's going strong. It's going very strong. And it's just getting better and better every time. And each thing that we write, it's always going to have some of that flavor in it. Some of it is just downright raunchy blues, and then other things is like real sweet. And it's like he'll
there's a couple of songs that didn't make the CD that are, shall we say, very much in the deep Memphis mini Tampa Red double entendre style.
Oh, we're gonna have to definitely. We're going to have to definitely get together. I want to hear those tracks.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, there was two songs of mine that I didn't want to include on this because they weren't quite, let's just say, the recorded versions were not, I didn't think that they were ready yet.
Right,
and,
gotcha.
Those are going to be included on my CD, which will be the next one, and that's going to be all my stuff, but Frank's going to play on it. And that's more of the Americana style. And,
we look forward to hearing that.
It'll have some... Yeah, but there's some blues songs on there. Yeah, the one that did not get on the CD is called "Turn Up the Heat in the Kitchen," and it's about keeping it hot in your marriage. You don't need no pots and pans, and it's a minutes to be done her type of thing. Yeah,
I sing that to her each night, So.
Oh well, I can understand that. Tell us a little bit about this next track we're going to play, "Half Moon Over Memphis."
This is one that's very near and dear to our hearts. And it was written on our honeymoon, which we took during the international. It started there. The International Blues Challenge in 2017. We were participants in that, and that's done in Memphis. And we had just played our hearts out. We left everything on the stage, and we were having a wonderful honeymoon. We just decided to make a week of it. We were gone a whole week. Went to Clarksdale. Went to Memphis, and we went to all over. Oh yeah, and we had a blast. And after we didn't advance during the challenge, we just decided we're still going to have fun. And we said, this is where we are in our life. This is where we're supposed to be. And we looked up at the sky on the way back to the hotel, and there was
driving down Union
Avenue. Down Union Avenue. I swear I saw Elvis. I swear. And there was this beautiful.
That's Marcone's song,
Yeah, that's a different song. Yeah,
Walking in Memphis.
Well, that's an obligatory part of a trip to Memphis, isn't it?
It is. Oh, yeah. But there was this beautiful half moon just looming over the Memphis skyline. It was breathtaking.
Literally shining straight down Union Avenue.
Oh, that is awesome.
And I looked at Frank. I said, look, Frank, that beautiful half moon over Memphis. And he says, that's a song. And so this is basically about our whole experience there, and it's in that song. So there you go.
Let's listen to it right now. Half Moon Over Memphis.